A very warm welcome to the fourth recitation of CS 170. And in today's recitation, we will be looking into the advanced concepts of HTML. But before we start, I would like to remind everyone to watch the recitation videos regularly and be sure to fill the Google Forms for to be marked as present for as attendance. And moreover, make sure that whenever you submit your assignment, submit it on time, and also please mention the honor code in every submission document. Uh, so today, the goal of the recitation is to practice the following, like apply styles using CSS code, create menus using lists, then apply classes to refine the styles of menus, and finally using the box model of CSS. So before we start with the coding, we need to do a bit of setup and download the files. So if you go to Canvas, under Files, under Recitation Information, and if you go under My Name, you will find the Recitation Code folder, where you can see that I have already uploaded the slides. Along with that, we have two HTML files and a CSS file. So I would request everyone to download these three files and make sure that you can view it correctly on your system. So after these files are downloaded, we can get started with the recitation. So the first task that we are going to do is to style, like using a style to improve the position of the image. So let's just go and first see how the two HTML pages look like. So this is the Netherlands.html file, and you can see that we have the headings, paragraphs, along with an image, and then we have a table followed by it. And then below the table, again, you can find the headings along with paragraphs. You can see a horizontal line here, which you can draw using the tag HR. So that is how the Netherlands.html file looks. And we can see the paradox.html file. Again, it has the headings, the paragraphs, and the two paragraphs are divided with a horizontal line. So we will be making changes to these HTML files, and we will also look into how we can how we can style our pages using CSS, which is cascading style sheet. So going back to our first task, we are going to improve the position of the image, which is there in the Netherlands.html file. So you can see that the map of the Netherlands in the demographic section appears on the top of the table, and it does not look very well positioned. So we can apply a style to place the image at the left side of the table. So you'll have the image and then you'll have the table. For doing this, we will use a property called has float and set it to left inside of the image tag. So we want to position the image, right? So if we have to do that, we will have to make some styling changes in the image tag itself. And so this type of styling is called as inline styling, where you have an image tag inside the HTML file and you try to style it inside of the tag itself. So anytime you have a tag, so let's just go to the code and you can see that the image tag is here. So anytime I'm trying to style and I put the styles inside of the tag itself, it's called as the inline styling. And the format to do inline styling is you write style equal to, and then you have the double quotes, and inside that you have the property is to the value. So let's say in this case, we want the image to be on the left side. So the property is called float, and we are giving that property float a value of left. So that's how we will use the inline styling. And if you have this entry has to be made inside the image tag because we want to style the image. So we will put the styling inside of the image tag. So we will have the open anchor bracket, we say img for image, and then we'll move on to write style equal to the property, which is float, and the property gets a value of left. So that is what we are going to do. So let's go to our code, and we can see here that we have the image. So I will say here style. So I can just write style equal to, then have the double quotes. And inside of the double quotes, I will write float, which is the property, and then just say left. I will hit save and go and refresh my file to see if the changes are made. So now if you can see that the image has come next to on the left side to the table. So this property of float can be used on various other uh, things as well. Like you can try to put a table next to an image, and you can do all of those different permutation combinations according to what the code requires you to do. So this is a very important property and it's very useful. So keep this in mind. Um, let's go on to the second task, which is changing the background and the text colors. So what we will do is that we will change the style of our body section again by using the inline style, which is you have the body tag, and inside of the body tag, you will do the styling. So the styling that we will do for the body tag is we will try to give it a background color. In this case, I've written that we give a background color of black. And then we have another property, which is the color. This color is for the text. So we have the background color, which is black, and then we have the text color, which is yellow. So let's try to go back to our code, and I can see that my body tag is written here, and I will try to change the styling for my body tag. So again, I will first write style, put an equal to sign, and then the double quotes are there. Inside of the double quotes, the first styling I want to do is background color. So I will write background hyphen color. So that's my property, and I will give this property a value of black. So I will just write black and then hit save. Okay, so let's go back to our code, sorry, web page, and try to refresh it. And you can see that everything has turned black. But we cannot see the text now. So because the text was in the black color. So what we will do is, along with giving it a style of like the background color, we will also give it a text color. So let's go back to our code. So when I'm trying to give multiple styles together, I just have to separate it with a semicolon, and then I can mention the other property along with its value. So now we have the property color, and I give it a value of yellow. And I will hit save. Let's go see the changes. And now you can see that our background is black, and all the text has been converted into the color yellow. So since we have written this piece of styling inside of the body tag, everything that is inside the body tag will go through the changes. Feel free to like pause the video right now and have different combinations of background color and text and see if the changes are applied. This will help you get a hang of it. So we just try to change the background color and the text. But I want to introduce you guys to something called as a style conflict, which happens sometimes when you give multiple styles to the same tag. Let's try to see it with an example. Do one thing. We will make an additional style entry, but this time we will do it in the head section instead of the body section. And we'll change the color from yellow to bright green. So in order to do that, you have to go in the head section and add the style tag. And instead of the style tag, give body a text color of green or lime. So let's just go and make that change. So we have the head tag here, and inside of the head tag, I will create a style tag. And in the style tag, I will give the body a text color. So I will say color. I'm just gonna give it lime, and I will hit save. So every time we have to do the styling, we can do it inside of the, like we can do the inline styling where the tags are there, but we can also do the styling in the head tag by writing the style tags like this, mentioning where we want to make the changes of style. So in this case, I want the body to have the color line. So let's go to our code and refresh it. But you can see that the color has not changed. We just gave it a color of lime, but it still hasn't changed. So the thing, it's not something that we did wrong. The reason is that there is a conflict in the styles between like the body and the head tag. So if we go to our code, we can see that we have the head tag and we have given a text color of lime. But then we go to the body and then we see that we have again given a color of yellow. So there is a conflict of styles, and HTML chose to just go with the color yellow. Now, what is the reason behind it? The reason is that there is a thumb rule in CSS, which is the closest style wins. So I will repeat it again. It says that the closest style wins. So that means that the style which is in the body tag, it is closest to the text, right? So that's why it predominates over the style in the head tag. So we are trying to style the body, but the closest style that is there to the body is this, and that is why it is getting a color of yellow. Let's try to do one thing. Let's remove this piece of code here. Okay. So now from the body tag, I have removed the piece of code which said what the color should be, and I have hit save. Let's go and see if it makes any changes. And now you can see that we can see the lime color. So that has happened because we just removed the text color, which was the closest to the body. So now it will go to the head tag and take up this style instead of taking up the style that was written here. So remember this thumb rule that the closest style always wins. So that was about, changing the background color and the text colors. Let's move on to our next task, which is we are trying to apply a style to a piece of text. So here we did the styling for the entire content that is there in the body. But what if I just want few words inside of my entire body to be shown differently? So what we will do is let's just locate the word Ardennes Mountains, and we will it's in the geographical data section of the Netherlands page, and we will try to style that separately. So let's just go and first see where it is. So you can see here the geographical data is there, and here we have to find the Ardennes Mountains. So it has to be, yeah, it is here. So this is the word that we want to, style differently. So let's go ahead and see how we can do that. So to be able to style certain words in the body content, we will be using the tag which is called as span. So all you have to do is the particular piece of text that you want to change, you just have to envelop those words within the span tag. So let's go to our code, and we can see this is where Ardennes Mountains is written. And I want to make change to just these two words. So I will first enclose these two words in the span tag. So let's go ahead and do that first. Okay, so I have enclosed these two words in the span tag. Now, after I enclose these words, now I can do any style changes that I want to do. So let's try to change the color of the text to red and give it a font family. So I will say, I will give it a style. So let's go to the span tag and just say style, and I will give it a color of red and a font family of Arial. And I will hit save. So when we go to our code and refresh it, you can see that out of all, like the entire body content, you just have this these two words with a different styling because we put it into a span tag. And this can be done for like any number of words. You can have like a different styling for just this part, then you can have a different styling for this part. All you have to do is, if you want to style this entire sentence in a different way, you just enclose this entire thing in the span tag and then put the styling, use inline styling to style it. So when you have to do the styling, it is not necessary that you have to do it for the entire body content. You can also take a few words, sentences, and style it differently the way you want. So that was about applying styles to a particular piece of text. Now, Now let's get into the task of creating a menu. And there are multiple steps to do it, and we will go step by step. The first step is obviously we have to create a CSS file. So the menus will be created for both the pages, which is Paradox and Netherlands. And since the menus are common for both the pages, we will just have one CSS file and we will connect that CSS file to both the pages. So first, let's just go and create an empty CSS file. So all you have to do is go to your editor, create a new file. So I just go to file, I say new file, and in this I will type CSS. I will just click on text file. I will select a language and I will say CSS, and I will save it. When you have to save it as my menu.css. .css. So when we create HTML files, we give the extension .html. When we have to create a CSS file, we give it an extension of .html. So here I have already created the CSS file, so I'm not going to create it again. And I have also uploaded the CSS file on Canvas. And this is how it looks like. This is how the CSS file looks like. So, pause the video here and take help from the CSS file and like copy the same code. And we will go through how the elements are coded in this. So let's see. When we have to create a menu, we will be using the list tags. Like we are going to use the list items. We are going to create an unordered list and then have the list items in it. So if we see here, we have the UL tag, which we are going to use for creating the list, and it is given like different styles. Then you have the LI tag, and it is given different styles. And we will come back to the CSS code to see how how the coding is done. But before that, let's create our menu. So let's just go. Okay, so now we will be creating our menus. So we will go to our, but before creating the menus, let's try to link the CSS file to our HTML file. So you have the HTML files, but how does the browser know that it has to take the styling from the CSS file, right? So you have to mention it somewhere that, okay, the styling of this page is from a different file, which is the CSS file. And there is a very easy way to do it. All you have to do is go to the head section in the HTML file. And basically, we're trying to link the files, right? So you have to use the tag and say link. And then you have to give it like, you have to tell it that, okay, what are we trying to link? We're trying to link a style sheet. So you have to mention rel equal to style sheet. And then you have to give an H reference. That is what is the name of the file, like which you are trying to link. And we named it mymenu.css. So we are going to mention that, and then the code will understand, okay, it has to take the styling from this particular file. So let's go to our page, and inside of the head tag, after we did the styling, I will just say link, and then I will first tell it that we're trying to link a style sheet, and then I will mention where what is the name of my style sheet. So we just named it my menu.css. So I will mention that and hit save. So we have now linked our CSS with this style sheet. So now if I go and just make the changes, so now if I go and refresh the page, you will actually not see any changes because we haven't actually written the code for the menu yet. So it will just stay the same. We will start writing the code for the menu now. And for creating the menu, we will be using a list. So we'll do it step by step. The first thing we will do is we will go to the bodies tag and we will create a list. It'll be a very simple list, just an unordered list with two list items. The first list item will say Netherlands and the other one will say Paradox. So let's just go ahead and do that. We have the body tag here. And since it's a menu and I want it to be on the top, I will just write it after my body tag, immediately after it. So I say UL. Okay, so I've created an unordered list. Then I will write my first list item, which is Netherlands. That's my first list item. And my second list item is going to be Paradox. And I will hit save. Let's see what changes are made. And now you can see that we have the unordered list. One is Netherlands and the other is Paradox. Now, the next thing that we have to do is we want to make sure that when we click on Paradox or Netherlands, it is a hyperlink, which will take us to the respective page. So it should be like when I click on Netherlands, it should take me to the netherlands.html file. And when I click on Paradox, it should take me to the paradox.html file. So for this, we will have to create the hyperlinks. And we have seen in the previous recitation, to create a hyperlink, we will use a tag. So like just pause the video here and try to see if you can, create the anchor tags and give the proper reference to the respective pages. So let's go back to the list that we made. And now inside of this, what I am going to do is create an A tag. So I say A H reference, and I want the Netherlands list item to take me to the Netherlands file. So I will say Netherlands underscore html and be sure to close the tag. And I will make sure that the A tag is closed correctly, which is here, and hit save. So now if I go and refresh my page, I can see that the Netherlands list item has become a hyperlink. And when I click on it, it will just get me to the Netherlands page, which we are already on. Do the same thing with the Paradox link as well. So again, I'll say A, href, double quotes, and then I will link it to the Paradox HTML file. Close the tag and make sure you close the tag at the correct place. Now this is done. Hit save and I will see, like you can see the changes. Now the Paradox list item has also become a link. When I click on it, it will take me to the paradox.html file. So our links are working perfectly. Make sure that it takes you to the correct pages and you have given the references correctly. So now, at this stage, we have our list and we have the hyperlinks as well. Now, what we have to do is get the styles and try to make it like remove the bullet points that are there so it looks more like a menu. Now for this, we will be using the CSS file that we have just created, and we will be using a concept of class. So when we go to our CSS file, you can see that all these tags we have used the UL tag, we have used the LI tag, and we have also used the A tag. So all these tags have different stylings. But after UL, there is something called as dot left menu. So what we have done is we have put this entire list into a menu, and yeah, this entire list has a menu, and we have given it a class. So when I have to mention the class, I will say class equal to left menu. You can give any name to classes, okay? And since we are trying to create a left menu, I have just given it a name of left menu. So the unordered list is has a class of left menu. The list items also has a class of left menu. And similarly, the next item also has a class of left menu. So I have given the class to the UL tag and the LI tags. Similarly, I will give a class to the A tags as well. So I will say class equal to left menu. And then again for this A tag, I will say left menu. So why do we have to give classes? The reason is that if you see that there are there is another A tag over here. Okay, so now if I go to my CSS file and I remove this thing and just say that the A tag should get all of these properties, what it will do is that it will give all the A tags the same properties. But actually, we just want to change the properties of the A tag which is inside the menu. So I will give the A tags a class of left menu, and then I can go to my CSS file and I can say that I want to change the A tag which has a class of left menu and have those just those these properties to be applied to the A tag of the left menu instead of changing all the styles of the A tag. So this is where classes are really important. You'll probably have like multiple lists in a web page, and you don't want to change the styling of all the lists that are there. And you want to just change the style of one particular list that you have made. So all you have to do is just give it a class, and then you can go to your CSS file and then mention that, okay, I want the UL tag with the class left menu to have the following properties. So it will only change the properties of those respective tags. So the first thing is you have the UL tag, which has a class of left menu. And here we have written list style type is none. Now what this does is if you go to your web page, you can see that there are these bullet points, but you do not want to have these bullet points. So you can just say list style type is none and it will remove the bullet point. And the next property we have given is float left. As we have seen previously, whenever we write float, it just shifts everything to the left hand side. So we want the menu to be on the left, and that's why I have given it float left. If I want the menu to be on the right, I can say float right. Then we move on to the next, which is LI, the list items. So the list items of the class left menu should have a font size of 20 pixels. You can make other changes as well. You can, say that you want the text color to be in a different way, and you want them to be underlined. You can make multiple changes in the styling. Then we move on to the next, which is the A tag, which is the links that we have put. So the A tag of the class left menu should have the following properties. The text decoration has to be none. What this means is that whenever we create links, you have observed that there is an underline always there, denoting that it is a tag, right? It's a link. So I don't want the underline it. I don't want it to be underlined. So basically, I do not want the text decoration. So I just say the text decoration will be none. We have given the A tag a width of 200 pixels. We have given it a text color of yellow and the background color of blue. And then finally, you will see something else, which is we have the A tag with a class of left menu, and we have written hover. So what I want is that whenever I hover on these tags, I want them to change their color into something else. So whenever I hover on Netherlands, I want the color to change to magenta, like the background color. So we've set the background color to be blue, but when we hover, I want it to change to magenta. So this is when you can use the hover property to make the style changes. So let's do one thing. We have the CSS in place now. If we go to our Netherlands file, let's check if we put the classes correctly. So we have written the class for the UL tag, for the LI tag, and for the A tag. I'm just gonna hit save, and let's see the changes that are made in our file. So now you can see that the bullet points are gone because we said that the list style should be none. And the underlines have gone because we had mentioned that the text decoration should be none. And you can see that the background color has changed to blue, like we said, and the text color is also different. And now if you see, if I hover over Netherlands, the background color changes to magenta. If I hover over Paradox, the background color changes to magenta. So that is what the hover property does. And if I click on Netherlands, it will just get me to the same page I'm on. If I click on Paradox, it will take me to the paradox.html file. So this is how we can use external styling, which is called as CSS, for like styling our pages. But you can see that the paradox.html file is still the same, the menu and all is still the same because we still haven't linked it to the CSS file and created the menu. So all you have to do is the code that we have written for our Netherlands.html file, we'll just copy paste it for our Paradox file. So let's go to our code. We have the Netherlands file here. The first thing we have to do is we have to link our CSS. So we will take this piece of code, copy it, go to our paradox.html file, and before the head tag ends, we will paste it here. So now we have linked our CSS file. The next thing we have to do is create the menu. So again, we can see that this is the code for menu. We will copy it and paste it right under the body tag and hit save. Okay. So now if we go and make changes, refresh our page, you can see that the menu that was here for the Netherlands file, we have the same menu here. So let's see if the links are working. If I go to Netherlands, it will take me to the Netherlands page. If I go to Paradox, it will get me to the Paradox page. So our our links are working perfectly fine. So this is how you can create menus very easily just by first all you have to do is create a simple list, an unordered list or ordered list. Then the next thing you have to do is you have to put the link A tags so that it can go to its respective pages. And then to do the styling of it, you can create a separate CSS file, give it a class name, and try to put in the styles that you want. Now, moving on to the last task, which is the box model of CSS. So, to understand what the box model is, I would request everyone to go to the website that I have mentioned below. And so let's go and see this website. So this explains what the CSS box model is. And we talk about CSS box model when we have to look into the design and the layout. And it's called a box model because it's like a box and there are layers to it. Okay. So you have the content right in the middle where all the text and the images appear. Then above the content is a padding, which is just a clear area around like the content that is there, and it is transparent. You can't see anything. And then after the padding, you have the border, which goes around the content and the padding, and you can see the border. And then you have the margin, which is which is an area outside of the border, and again, this is transparent. So this is what the box model is, and it allows us to like add borders around elements and to define the space between different elements. So you can go ahead and see this example of how the box model is. So let's just go, and you can see that we have this content. Okay, and in this content we have given it a padding of 50 pixels. So that's why you can see a clear area of 50 pixels, and there is absolutely nothing there over there. And then after the clear area you can see a border. So we have given a border of 15 pixels, and we have given it a color of solid green. So you can see we have the border, which is solid green and of 15 pixels. And then we have given it a margin of 20 pixels. So that is this margin from the P tag. We have a margin of 20 pixels, which obviously it's a clear area, so you can't see anything there, but you can see that there is a margin of 20 pixels. So that is the box model of CSS. And what we will try to do is we will try to create a border for the famous artist, the word that is there inside of the Netherlands or HTML files. You can see we have famous artist heading here. So we will try to add a border to it using the CSS box property of CSS. So in order to do that, it's very simple. The famous artist is inside of the H2 tag. And again, we'll do inline styling. All you have to say is you have to write style and say, I want to give it a border of, how many pixels followed by what color and how you want the border to be. So I will say I want the border to have like 5 pixels, and it should be a solid border, and it should be in red color. And in this way, we can just create a border around the heading. So let's go to our code, and this is the Netherlands file. Here is the H2 tag. Let's just find that. Okay, here is the H2 tag, and here I will give it a styling for the border. So I will say style, and then inside of it, I will say I need to style the border. And the first thing I want to do is give it a 5 pixel value, followed by saying I want it to be solid, and then followed by a color, which is red. And I hit save. Now, when I go to my file and refresh it, you can see that there is a border which is around the heading of H2 tag. So this is how you can do the stylings using the box property, and you can have multiple styles together written at once. So here you can see I've mentioned how many pixels it should be, and it should be solid, and it should be of red color. So that is how you can take advantage of this. Try to experiment it with different colors. Try to make the text easy to read. You can also like play around with how the border should be. You can have like a dashed border as well. You can see all those properties at W3 schools as well inside of this, and you can play around with it. So with this, we come to an end of the recitation, and we saw multiple things this time. We saw how to try to do inline styling. We also saw how we can do external styling by, connecting the pages to a CSS sheet, how to create menus by, using the simple concept of list. And also we got to know more about like the box model of CSS. So yes, we covered quite a lot of topics, and make sure that you fill out this Google form so that you're marked for the attendance. Thank you so much, and we will meet in the next one.